The text from my brother Tyler came through at 6:47 p.m. on a Friday, just as I was reviewing quarterly reports in my home office. The message made me pause mid-sentence in my analysis of overseas manufacturing costs. "Hey sis, borrowed your cheap necklace from your jewelry box for my date tonight. Thanks." I stared at the message, trying to process what I had just read. Tyler was in my apartment, going through my jewelry box and taking what he thought was a cheap necklace. The problem was, I didn't own any cheap necklaces. My phone buzzed again with another text. "Don't worry, I'll take good care of it. Just wanted something nice for Emma. You know how she is about jewelry." I knew exactly how Emma was about jewelry. Tyler's girlfriend of 6 months had expensive taste and a habit of borrowing things that somehow never made it back to their original owners. She had already kept 2 of my scarves and a designer handbag that she claimed looked better on her anyway. But this time was different. I walked quickly to my bedroom and opened my jewelry box. Most of my everyday pieces were there. The pearl earrings from Mom, the vintage bracelet from Grandma, the simple gold chain I wore to work. But the blue velvet compartment in the back corner was empty. The compartment where I kept the Salomon sapphire necklace. My heart started racing as I grabbed my laptop and pulled up the Sterling Luxury Jewelers inventory database. I scrolled through the active pieces until I found item number 4429, Salomon sapphire and diamond necklace, 18-karat white gold setting, 15.7 carat center stone, surrounded by 8.3 carats of diamond accents. Estimated retail value, $2.2 million. Tyler had just walked off with a $2.2 million necklace, convinced it was nothing more than cheap costume jewelry to impress his girlfriend. I picked up my phone, forced my hands to steady, and typed a single reply: "Have fun." Then, without hesitation, I dialed James Morrison, head of security at Sterling Luxury Jewelers. "James, it's Victoria. I need to report a theft." "Miss Sterling, what's been stolen?" "Inventory item number 4429, the Salomon sapphire necklace." I heard the rapid clack of keys on his end. "The one you signed out for the insurance appraisal photos? You're saying it's been stolen from your residence?" "Yes." "Jesus, do you know who took it?" My eyes flicked to Tyler's cheerful message still glowing on my screen, complete with a smiling emoji. "Yes. My brother." "Your brother, Miss Sterling? Are you certain you want to classify this as theft? Family cases get messy." "James, that necklace is worth more than most people's homes. This isn't a family spat. This is grand theft." "Understood. Where is he now?" I forwarded Tyler's earlier text about his anniversary dinner with Emma. "Le Chardon on 5th. Their 7 o'clock reservation should be starting." "I'll contact LAPD and have units dispatched to the restaurant. Do you want to press full charges?" I thought about his carelessness, the entitlement of assuming my jewelry box held nothing but trinkets, that my things were his for the taking. The irritation curdled into steel. "Full charges, James. Handle this as you would any other multi-million-dollar theft." "Copy that. I'll update you." I ended the call and sat back in my home office, surrounded by quarterly reports and balance sheets, work Tyler never once cared to ask about. In his mind, I was just his sister with a retail job at some jewelry store. He had never asked which store, in what capacity, or how I afforded a downtown loft. If he had, he might have known the truth. Sterling Luxury Jewelers wasn't my employer. It was my company. I had inherited it from our grandfather at 25, and for the last 8 years I had expanded it into one of the most respected jewelry houses on the West Coast. The cheap necklace Tyler swiped belonged to an exclusive collection so rare it required armored transport and bespoke insurance policies. And walking out with inventory without authorization wasn't borrowing. It was felony theft. 20 minutes later, my phone rang. "Miss Sterling, this is Detective Martinez with LAPD. We have your brother in custody." That was quick. "Well, it's not every day we get a call about a stolen $2 million necklace. Trust me, We moved fast. What's his condition? Mostly confused. He keeps insisting the necklace is fake and that his sister just works at a jewelry store. He seems genuinely stunned that we arrested him. Honestly, I can't say I'm surprised. Miss Sterling, I have to ask, Detective Martinez said carefully. Did you give your brother permission to take this necklace? No. I was at work when he entered my apartment and removed it from my jewelry box. I only realized what had happened after he texted me to brag about it. And detective, he doesn't know the value of the piece. My brother thinks I'm a retail employee living paycheck to paycheck. He has no idea what I actually do for a living, which is, I own Sterling Luxury Jewelers. That necklace is part of our private collection. There was a pause on the line. You own the company? I inherited it from my grandfather. I've been the CEO for 8 years. And yes, my brother has no idea. You're telling me he's never asked what you do for work? Never questioned how you afford your lifestyle? Never. He made assumptions, and I never corrected him. Why not? I glanced around my home office. Awards gleamed from industry organizations, photographs showed me beside celebrity clients, and a framed Forbes spread praised me as one of the youngest female entrepreneurs in luxury goods. Because I wanted to know if my family would love me for who I am, not for what I own. That little experiment didn't end well. My brother just stole from me because he assumed I had nothing worth protecting. Detective Martinez fell silent for a long moment. Miss Sterling, your brother is asking to speak with you. He's pretty shaken. I imagine he is. Will you come down to the station? I checked my watch. Nearly 9 p.m. By now, Tyler and Emma's romantic anniversary dinner had completely collapsed. I'll be there in 30 minutes. The precinct was buzzing with Friday night chaos, drunks, pickpockets, and a handful of bewildered tourists. I spotted Detective Martinez at his desk, a weary man in his 40s, whose specialty was white-collar crime. Miss Sterling. Detective Martinez. He rose to shake my hand. Your brother's in interview room 2. He's been asking for you nonstop for the past hour. And his girlfriend? Martinez sighed. She's hysterical, keeps demanding to know why we're treating this so seriously. She even told the other diners at the restaurant the necklace was fake. Of course she did. The staff confirmed your brother was wearing a very expensive-looking sapphire necklace. Several patrons snapped photos when the arrest went down. This will be in the news by morning. I hadn't thought of that angle. Local news would devour this. A $2 million necklace theft at a fine dining hotspot. Exactly the kind of story they love. Detective Martinez guided me to a small, windowless room. Tyler sat slouched at a metal table, still in his date-night dress shirt and tie. His wrists were cuffed, and for the first time in years he looked fragile, like a boy caught stealing candy. Victoria. His head snapped up the moment I stepped inside. Thank God. Please, just tell them this is a misunderstanding. I took the seat across from him. What kind of misunderstanding, Tyler? The necklace. They're saying it's worth $2 million. That's insane. It's just some costume piece you keep in your bedroom. Why would you assume it was costume jewelry? Because you work at a jewelry store, Vic. You're not making big money, right? I figured it was some knockoff you brought home from work. Tyler, what jewelry store do I work at? He blinked, confused. I don't know. Some local place downtown? You never talk about it. Have you ever asked? Asked what? Where I work. What I do. How I can afford a $2,000 a month loft in the Arts District on a retail clerk's salary. Tyler hesitated, floundering. I figured you had roommates or something. I don't. So how do you think I pay for it? I pulled out my phone and slid it across the table. The Sterling Luxury Jewelers homepage lit up, my photograph smiling beside the company logo. The text read, Victoria Sterling, CEO and Creative Director. Tyler's face drained of color. That's you. That's me. You're the CEO? I'm the owner. Grandpa left me the company 8 years ago. Tyler's mouth fell open. Grandpa's jewelry store. Sterling Luxury Jewelers isn't a store, Tyler. It's a luxury house. We design for celebrities, collectors, and the wealthiest clients in the world. That necklace you borrowed was commissioned for a private buyer considering a purchase. $2 million? 2.2, I corrected. Tyler dropped his head into his hands. Oh my God, Victoria. I didn't know. How could I? You live like a normal person. You drive that beat-up Prius, wear plain clothes. I never thought you had serious money. I have plenty of money. I just don't need to broadcast it. A knock at the door. Detective Martinez stepped in, clipboard in hand. Miss Sterling, we need to discuss charges. Given the value, this qualifies as felony grand theft. Your brother could be facing up to 3 years in prison. Tyler's head jerked up. 3 years? For borrowing a necklace? For stealing a $2 million necklace, Martinez corrected evenly. The courts don't weigh family ties or intentions. They look at the value of what you took. But I was going to give it back. When? I pressed. After your date? Tomorrow morning? Yes, exactly. After the date. Tomorrow morning. Tyler, you walked into a public restaurant with a $2 million necklace to impress your girlfriend. What if you'd lost it? What if someone had mugged you? What if Emma decided she liked it too much to return? Tyler's face collapsed as the weight of reality hit him. Miss Sterling, Detective Martinez said evenly, as the victim, you have the right to request the charges be dropped, but given the value and circumstances, the DA may choose to prosecute regardless. I looked at my brother, sitting in a police interview room in his wrinkled date-night clothes, finally grasping the enormity of what he'd done. I need to think about it. Victoria, please. Tyler's voice cracked. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. Tyler, in 8 years, you've never once asked me about my work, my finances, my life. You've lived on assumptions. I know. I was wrong. You broke into my apartment. I had a key. For emergencies. And you took something without permission. I thought it was just costume jewelry. You thought it was fine to take my things because you assumed they weren't valuable. What does that say about how much you respect me, Tyler? He stared at the table. I don't know. Detective Martinez excused himself, leaving us alone. I studied my brother's face. For the first time in years, he was really looking at me. Not through me, not past me, but at me. Tyler, what do you think I do all day? I thought you worked behind a counter, selling jewelry to walk-in customers. I run a company with 47 employees. I design pieces for A-list celebrities. I manage supplier contracts in 12 countries. I oversee a production facility, a showroom, and 3 retail partners. You never knew because you never asked. You've been so wrapped up in your job, your girlfriend, your social life. You never cared to wonder what I was doing. Silence hung between us. You're right about one thing, though, I continued. That necklace? It represents 6 months of work. The design, the sourcing, the craftsmanship. It's not just jewelry, Tyler. It's art. I get it now, he whispered. Do you? Because this isn't only about the necklace. It's about the fact that you valued me, and my things, so little that you thought you could just take them. Tears spilled down his face. Victoria, I'm sorry. I disrespected you. I know that. But please, don't let them send me to prison. I'll do anything to make this right. I looked at him. My little brother, only 3 years younger, yet somehow blind to who I really was for nearly a decade. What would make this right, Tyler? I don't know. Pay you back? With what money? You're in pharmaceutical sales. You just dropped $300 on dinner to impress Emma. I'll get a loan. A $2 million loan? You don't grasp the scale of what you've done. His voice broke. Then tell me what to do. I thought about all the years of family dinners where Tyler had monopolized the table with endless stories about his job, never once asking about mine. The countless emergencies when he borrowed money without a thought as to how I could afford to lend it. The total lack of curiosity about my life. I want you to work for me. His head jerked up. What? 6 months. Entry level. You'll learn every part of the jewelry business from the ground up. You'll see what goes into creating pieces like the one you stole. Victoria, I don't know anything about jewelry. You'll learn. And Tyler, you'll be paid minimum wage. His eyes widened. Minimum wage? You walked off with a $2 million necklace because you assumed it was worthless. You need to learn the value of things, including work. Your job at Pfizer can wait. This is the deal. 6 months working for me, learning to respect what I do, or 3 years in prison for grand theft. Silence stretched between us before he whispered, What about Emma? What about her? She's going to be humiliated. Everyone at the restaurant saw me get arrested. Tyler, your girlfriend watched you steal from your sister just to impress her. If she's embarrassed, maybe she should re-examine her priorities. She didn't know I was stealing it. She knew you were taking things from my apartment without asking. She's had my scarves and a purse for months. Tyler frowned, genuinely startled. She kept those? You didn't give them to her? I thought you had. When exactly did I give Emma permission to keep my belongings? Realization hit him hard. His expression shifted, horrified. She said you told her she could have them. I never told her any such thing. Which means she's been stealing from you too, Tyler. His shoulders slumped, and he buried his face in his hands. God, Victoria, what kind of people have we become? I don't know, Tyler. I leaned back in my chair, watching him. You tell me. Detective Martinez returned with a clipboard of paperwork. Miss Sterling, have you decided about the charges? I glanced at my brother one last time. I want to drop the felony charges, on the condition that my brother enters into a restitution program. What kind of restitution? 6 months of community service. He'll work for my company and learn the value of what he nearly threw away. Martinez raised an eyebrow. That's unusual, but if both parties agree. Tyler, do you accept these terms? Yes, absolutely. Yes. And, I added, you'll return every item Emma has borrowed tonight. As soon as I'm out of here, he promised. Martinez signed off with a weary shake of his head. Mr. Sterling, you're fortunate to have a sister willing to work with you on this. I know, Tyler whispered. 2 hours later, we walked out of the precinct together. Tyler was officially released into my custody, and the Salomon Sapphire was already secured back in Sterling Luxury Jewelers' vault. Victoria, Tyler said as we crossed the parking lot. I need to ask you something. What? Are you really worth millions of dollars? I unlocked my car, then pulled up my phone and showed him the latest Forbes article spotlighting Sterling Luxury Jewelers' growth. The company's valued at about $60 million. My personal net worth is around 40. 40 million, he repeated, stunned. He stopped walking. And I've been borrowing $20 from you for gas money. You have, he groaned. I'm such an idiot. You're not an idiot, Tyler. Just self-absorbed. There's a difference. We drove in silence for a while before he spoke again. So, what's my job going to be? You'll start in the workshop. Learn how the jewelry is made. Then you'll rotate through inventory, client services, and eventually sales. By the end of 6 months, you'll understand every corner of the business. And then you'll finally respect what other people do for a living, including your sister. He shifted in his seat, voice softer now. Victoria, I'm sorry, not just for the necklace, but for never seeing you, for never asking about your life, or caring about your success. I know. How do you know? Because you're here. You could have called Dad, or hired a lawyer, or tried to pin this on me. But instead, you're accepting responsibility. That's how I know. He nodded. I want to make it right. Good. Because Monday morning, 7 a.m., you start learning what it really takes to create something worth $2 million. Tyler managed a faint smile. I'll be there. And for the first time in years, I believed him. 6 months later, Tyler was one of my most reliable employees. He respected the artistry, the precision, and the relentless discipline behind luxury goods. More importantly, he respected me. And when the Salomon Sapphire finally sold to a private collector for $2.4 million, it was Tyler, my once careless little brother, who helped coordinate the sale.